Hi, everybody. My name is Jerry Wise, and I'm a life and relationship coach, and I want to talk to you about 7 struggles adult children of dysfunctional families face when socializing. Adult children of dysfunctional families may face several struggles when it comes to socializing and relating with others, including, number 1, trust issues. Growing up in a dysfunctional family may make it difficult for adult children to trust others, as they may have experienced betrayal, disappointment from their family members in the past and growing up. Lies, broken promises, inconsistent parenting, being dragged into parents' marriages and triangulations with them. And these are big problems for adult children. And you've learned not to trust yourself, which is another problem. So not only do we not trust others, we don't trust ourselves. Often we are undermined in our ability to be confident in ourselves and trust in ourselves. Our thoughts are doubted. Our emotions are denied. Our actions are questioned. Our motives are questioned. Our looks and appearance can even be criticized. And we ask, well, how can I trust anyone, even myself? That may not be a conscious thought, but often it's an ingrained unconscious thought. Secondly, difficulty in forming healthy relationships. Adult children of dysfunctional families may have difficulty in understanding what a healthy relationship looks like, or may have a hard time maintaining healthy relationships due to past experiences. Most of the time, adult children grow up learning normal relationships are normal when they are fused or enmeshed, brittle, rigid, intense, or have too much distance or too much reactivity. And all of those things feel very normal for relationships, but they're not normal. They're normal according to the dysfunctional paradigm of normal and programming that we had growing up. We see socializing, dating, marrying, and friendship through the eyes of our family superself, the family trance, the family lens. That's how we gauge and judge and measure relationships. Thirdly, difficulty in expressing emotions. Adult children of dysfunctional families may have learned to suppress their emotions and may have difficulty in expressing themselves and communicating their needs to others. Feelings are dangerous or threatening and even offensive in a dysfunctional family. But the same is true for honesty and openness and vulnerability. If you share feelings or do honesty, openness, or vulnerability, that will bring about feelings of danger, fear, offensiveness, and defensiveness on the part of others. We learn that. So then we go, okay, I'm not doing feelings when I get older. That's the unconscious learning that we had. Learning feelings identification and expression requires a safe and accepting environment. Nothing like the dysfunctional family, which is not a safe and accepting environment. So we suppress, ignore, fear feelings, and handle feelings like they're sensations that are alien to us. We also may experience just frozen feelings. I don't feel anything here from the neck on down. Or I only feel reactive feelings, and I often call these systems feelings. Or just a limited number of feelings and a very small number. You ask somebody, how are they doing? Fine. Well, I feel frustrated. Well, I feel hurt. Just a very few number. And we have a limited vocabulary about our feelings when we're adult children. We suppress what we want and need, and in a dysfunctional family, we know not to have wants or needs, let alone express these calmly or openly. I hope you'll subscribe, comment, and like this video, please. Number 4, difficulty in setting and enforcing healthy boundaries, as they may have grown up in a family where boundaries were not respected. There are only a few boundaries within the dysfunctional family, and only often felt boundaries, many times not even stated. But there might be a stated one, hey, like your dad doesn't want you to be playing and bothering him while he's watching TV. Adults can have boundaries, but kids cannot, or don't have any rights to boundaries. Because in many ways, in dysfunctional families, Parents feel a sense of ownership about the children that they have. These are my children that I do with what I want, because that's what they learned growing up in their family. Adult children of dysfunctional families might not even know what their boundaries are, nor how to communicate them, nor what to do if others resist, and dream of someday being able to know, set, and to keep boundaries. But that's only a dream that someday they think that might be able to happen. They may have some idea of external boundaries. Okay, well, I sure wish I didn't have to do this, or I sure wish they wouldn't do that with me. But often we have very little knowledge of internal boundaries and regulating my feelings and my reactivity. For example, and this would be internal type boundaries. I don't cause you to feel, you don't cause me to feel. Secondly, my feelings are mine to deal with. Your feelings are yours to deal with. Those are internal boundaries that often we have not learned. We learn I'm responsible for your feelings and you're responsible for my feelings. And that if I'm feeling this way, it's your job to fix it, make it better, or make me feel better, and vice versa. When actually those aren't good internal boundaries at all. And we've learned that significantly. Fifthly, adult children of dysfunctional families have difficulty in managing stress, as they may have learned maladaptive coping mechanisms such as substance abuse, self-harm. Adult children use many other ways to manage stress too that may be unhealthy. Overfunctioning. Do you know we do that to manage our anxiety and our stress? Maybe we obsess about something like working out or running or doing lawn work or any number of things we can obsess about to manage our anxiety. We can avoid addressing issues and avoid people as a way of managing that stress. We can objectify love and happiness and focus on money, possessions, positions, achievements as a way of managing our stress and our anxiety. Some people stay single to manage their stress. Some people get married to manage their stress. Some people have kids to manage their stress. Some people don't have kids to manage their stress. But we don't want to do those things or make those choices simply to manage our stress. We want to do it because that's our choice and what we choose to do. Then there's other addictions like gambling, sex addiction, food addiction, religious addiction. Adult children of dysfunctional families have difficulty managing all the stress they have inherited from growing up and the additional stress they carry into adulthood and what adulthood brings to them. So we have kind of a double layer of stress. Number 6, we have difficulty in dealing with conflict. Adult children of dysfunctional families may have difficulty in dealing with conflict, as they may have grown up in a family where conflicts were not resolved in a healthy manner. And in dysfunctional families, conflicts aren't resolved in a healthy manner. Usually somebody gets cut off, somebody gets squashed. That's how we resolve conflict in a dysfunctional family. Often we become conflict avoidant. If there's a conflict, we may run away or become reactive. And I kind of consider that kind of being the victim or the Viking. We're either poor me or I'm going to show you, and both are dysfunctional and both are poor ways to deal with conflict. We found the only way to respond to conflict was to comply or people please or be angry and blow up or blow out. We find it hard to be objective and believe anyone else would be objective rather than reactive when conflict arises. We find it hard to be objective, so that means everyone else would find it hard to be objective. And so when someone comes into therapy or coaching and they find a coach who's not reactive and is objective, it's kind of like, wow, you mean there are really people who do this? And that's what we as adult children come to learn. Conflict raises our anxiety and our stress. We have not experienced healthy resolution of conflict. We have not been taught or learned about fair fighting, for example. How do you fight, so to speak, and I do mean verbal and emotional with someone? How do we do fair fighting in a marriage? What's fair fighting? That's a term that's used in marital couple work. Because there are rules to healthy fighting, not the rules we learned growing up in dysfunctional families. Few issues ever got resolved. They only got recycled over and over and over again because they're never resolved. Active listening was never modeled or utilized. Just silence while thinking about your response while the other person was talking. And that's what we've learned. Don't listen to the other person. Just prepare your argument while they're talking. And that's a very dysfunctional way of dealing with conflict and communication. 7, adult children of dysfunctional families struggle knowing and being themselves with others. We find friends, partners, and spouses, even business partners, and interact with others without really knowing ourselves. Often the relationship dictates who we are versus me coming to the relationship as who I am. And for adult children of dysfunctional families, again, the relationships and other people tend to dictate who is myself, who am I. And that's a backwards way to do that, but we learned that growing up. Often we don't choose relationships. We just kind of morph into them. We go where they just feel right. But if your feeler is broken, then your feeling right notion may become a problem. Because this guidance system can be very, very faulty. And we find ourselves having a social group who seems as dysfunctional as my family growing up. And I've found for so many people when they socialize or even in work settings, they end up finding out their work setting is a mirror to their dysfunctional family. And how did they get there? Because that's what's inside them. Adult children of dysfunctional families did not learn who we were growing up. And we find people with faulty and broken selves, and we find them to socialize with and to date and to marry. For help with these traits, I hope you'll watch many more of my videos on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, comment. We comment on your comments and like this video. I want to thank you for watching. Have a great day and be wise.